So, पर्यावरण या फिर भूख या फिर लोभ, इसके ऊपर मेरे पास कोई आध्यात्म की चीज़ें नहीं है. I'm the most illiterate person when it comes to environment or academics of environment in that sense. So I'm largely going to keep my conversation around practice, around issues that we have, that we're facing today, perhaps we will face tomorrow. And there's every chance that it's only going to get worse from where we are right now. Very quickly, as I'm going to talk about 4 things, I'm going to give you 4 scenarios that we have in the country today. So we have an IPL game, an IPL tournament that's actually going to happen in the country. And IPL is one of the most craziest form of sport that we have. The most, I'm sure it's the richest sport or tournament that actually takes place in our country. And there are 20 matches that's actually going to happen in Maharashtra. That's reality 1. And the counter reality of Maharashtra is that there are 3,500 people who actually died in Maharashtra alone in last 365 days, which almost means 9 to 10 people who have died because of have committed suicide. And these are people who actually have ended their life. I'm not even talking about people who've actually gone below poverty line. And by the way, also Maharashtra is a state that actually has around, what, 1,600 plus big dams. The most number of dams that we actually have in the country is in Maharashtra. The richest city in India, the financial hub of India is Maharashtra. A lot of that statistics. So there are 2 statistics that we have: the most number of farmer suicides, the most number of dams, and the most amount of money, power, prowess, growth, high-rise, all of that coexisting in that one local geographical boundary. That's reality 1. Reality 2, we have, which is the best mall in Delhi? Select City hoga, DLF Promenade hoga. So there are 3 big malls. The richest mall of Delhi is the one that is next to Promenade. Emporio, right? Wow, you know everything. So Emporio, and then next to Emporio is a little. So Emporio is the smallest mall, and then next to that is a bigger mall, but it's a cheaper mall called Promenade. And next to that is. इसके पहले तो किसी भी चीज के ऊपर आपकी जानकारी कम थी, लेकिन मॉल्स कहाँ है, सबसे बड़ा मॉल कौन है, वो हमें पता है. आपको अगर इतना पता है कि वहाँ पे ये 3 मॉल्स हैं, इसके पहले वहाँ पे क्या था? रिच था, स्लम था, खाली था जमीन. ठीक है, तो रिच था, स्लम था, खाली थी जमीन. ये 3 हमारी रियलिटी है, लेकिन उसमें कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं कौन सा मॉल था या मॉल है. Right? So that's the reality in the same geographical location that we're talking about, which is actually the extension of Aravallis in that sense. That's where there are lots and lots of aquifers that were there. A lot of water recharge actually happens through aquifers. And that's where we have 3 major symbols of youth, fashion, development, money, power in the same local area. So for us to actually decide, is there an environmental issue, or is there an issue at all that we're actually talking about? Last fortnight, there was the air quality of Mumbai went for a fix. You know about that? What happened in Bombay? Anything about the same issue that we were actually facing in Delhi? In fact, worse than that, in areas of Chembur, Devnar, Mankur, there were there was a lot of smoke there. Where was it coming from? No idea. Yeah, so there were these pocket fires earlier, and there was a huge fire since last 2.5 months, starting January, at this dumping yard called Devnar Dumping Yard. So Mumbai alone produces around 10,000 metric tons of garbage every day. It's actually a landfill that we're talking about. That landfill has been around for almost 100 years. That fire has been around for almost many years, several decades, and this time it became extreme right now, and the air quality completely got devastated. That is statistics 1. And last week or a couple of days ago, we have had the most fastest train going from Delhi to Agra. Sara, udhar wala statistics sab pata hai. So yes, there was 160 km/h train that takes you in 100 minutes to Agra, and that also happens. So these are also 2 statistics that
that glares on our face. Then, just last month, March 11th, 12th, 13th, we had a mega event in Delhi that actually got around 3.75 or 3.5 million people, which almost means 35 million people. The stage was, how big was the stage? You know what the stage? You know what happened, right? There was a World Culture Festival, Double Shri Ravi Shankar did an event, as in Shri is too long. And he had an event and he actually got almost 35 lakh people to come and dance and chant. So that's one statistics, and the other statistics is that Yamuna's water quality, that actually, so the entire festival was on the banks of Yamuna. Water quality of Yamuna, according to Central Pollution Control Board, it's E class. It means that it's not even fit for animal bathing, it's only fit for industrial cooling, right? So that's the time. So when we talk about environmental landscape, and by the way, most of the examples that I've actually given you is only the urban environmental landscape. A lot of romance environmental landscape I have not really linked, except the Latur one, which also I have not gone deep into to understand that why does environment matter today? Is environmentalism only an idea of romance for a blue air, clean water, or it actually has an impact on people's lives? People's lives only in terms of the quality of air and the quality of water that you breathe and drink, respectively, or it is also about basic right to life. Can people die because of bad environment? Can people, and I'm not talking about asthma, I'm talking about hunger. I'm talking about extreme poverty that is caused because of no access to resources or inequitable distribution of resources. When we actually talk about environment, it's very, very important for us to understand that everything is not just about environmental campaign. Unless and until you actually link that Save the Tiger or that Inconvenient Truth film to larger issues of injustice and equity, we will not be able to understand what environmentalism or what activism or what idea of justice actually means. A couple of weeks ago, as in, I was actually doing a, do you have a mic that I can walk around and talk? Yeah. Okay. So a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a workshop with some 40 kids from a school. And these were all, high school students. And we all know that we all live in a river basin. So we've all studied that every civilization is next to a river, or every industrialization is next to a river. So there was this group of 40 people, and I asked them that, in India we have almost 13 river basins. Why don't we group ourselves based on the river basins that we actually belong to? And this is one of the most so-called progressive school of India, or one of the best schools of India that we're actually talking about. So I asked them to group themselves. So kuch harkat hui, kuch movement hua class mein. There's someone that actually from Nasik, they made a small little Godavari group. There was someone from Banaras, they made a Ganga group. And suddenly there's this boy who walks up to me and says, "Sir, I don't know which river basin do I actually belong to. I think I belong to tap water basin." And you won't believe that, interestingly, almost 50 to 60% of the class, as soon as they actually heard that there was an answer there called tap water, they actually went and joined this guy, otherwise he's an introvert. Because for most of the people, they didn't even know which river basin did they actually belong to. Because for them, if you ask them where do you get your water from, if I ask where do you get your water from, syntax se aata hai ji. If you get more creative, you say nalke se aata hai ji. If you get further more creative, you say Bisleri, hamara to Bisleri se aata hai ji. So unless and until we are able to connect, or hawa kahan se aati hai? Kahan se aata hai? AC se na? या टेबल फैन से आता है? Yeah? So LG देता है आजकल हमें, या फिर वोल्टास, हमारा हवा तो वोल्टास से आता है. So we need to understand that in current context, and it's basically more important for you and I, because as we've seen in both the presentations, that we are the ones who actually have most control over resource, more sense of agency, and we are the criminals. You and I actually have been, in the name of development and so-called for better education. As I just day before yesterday, I came back from, so we have something called Yamuna Yatra that we do every year, where we track the river for the last 14 years. We track the river from Yamunotri to Agra to look at, what is Yamuna and what is the change in Yamuna and everything else. Very interestingly, the river is completely clean when it's actually with uneducated people. People who do not go to school, people who don't speak English. The river is completely clean. You can actually drink water. It's almost till Dakpatar, Ponta Sahib, you can actually drink that water from the mountains. And as soon as the river enters the plains, where people speak English, people wear Fan India, people eat pizza, people go to DT cinema, people watch Inconvenient Truth, people attend UGC seminars, that's when the river dies. Why? That's when the forest disappears. What kind of an education and what kind of modernity are we talking about that people who so-called have climbed up the ladder of progress or human intelligence, that's where our environment degenerates. And this is no coincidence. So who are we actually fooling then? Why do we actually go to fancy universities, speak fancy language, live in fancy houses, when we know that at the end of the day we're only fooling each other? In reality, every progress means devastation. This area also, I think, is Central Ridge. I'm sure this college is also Central Ridge. Yeah. So this is where. So we are, of course. So it's about what do you choose? And I have nothing against GMC. I have nothing against you. How can I have anything against GMC? Or UGC. I should have said Bharat Mata Ki Jai first. So it's very important for us to understand these things, and also these issues are, by the way, very connected. Every topic that we've discussed, be it IPL, farmer suicides, Sri taking India for a ride, Modi dancing there for an hour and a half, Mr. Kejriwal saying that we can't, why don't you come and run my water ministry? You're the only one who can save Yamuna, Guruji. Or even fancy airport. People say that you can't judge a nation based on how good or how good looking or how beautiful the airport of the city is or the country is. Unfortunately, we judge ourselves based on mobile phone and city based on the airport that we have. And all these issues are actually connected. For you and I, it still could be perhaps, and that's the reason why when I started that, it's not just academics. It's not about your intellectual, cognitive understanding of the environment that needs to grow. As we speak, there are thousands and thousands of people who are actually dying because there's no water. For you and I, it's an issue of civic sense and hygiene, and that's why we go and flush. There are 30,000 people who are actually sleeping at Nasik bus stand, and there's no media story around it because there's no water at all. That's more wonder. We're talking about extreme ideas of injustice. And then when those 30,000 people actually pick up arms tomorrow, or kill themselves or kill someone else, imagine they are thirsty, then you will call them anti-national, and you will actually go extreme and call them terrorists. And whose responsibility is it to really fix this? Yours, and also failure of, also the government. All these are commentary on where have we actually taken our country to, our larger issues of governance to. And the first thing that we actually say, when we talk about better governance in environment, our minister, and it's important to discuss politics, and politics without party politics is not possible, or is possible also, but Mr. Javadekar says that why should we actually, earlier the average of 190 days it used to take to clear a file. We should take only 100 days now. I should say 800 seconds. In fact, the local government in Delhi said you don't even need an environmental clearance. As soon as Mr. Kejriwal came to power, they said small and medium industries don't need environmental clearance from DPCC at all, because these are organizations or institutions that actually corrupt, that perpetuates corruption. So environmentalism or conservation in modern day India and modern day world is a hindrance to human growth and development. We think that we, and historically, people like Rekha Patkar and others are old anti-nationals who have actually been proposing the idea of progress, idea of bigger India, energy efficient India, energy surplus India. And we've said that, you know, when you got in those dams, as I said, 1,600 dams in Maharashtra, did it actually bring in water? Did it make you water secure? You actually, in that crop versus forest graph that we saw, that there's more and more crops in Punjab and Haryana. Does it mean that actually there has been, if you look at Haryana and Punjab in terms of human development index, these are two worst states that we have actually had in the country in terms of female feticide, declining child-sex ratio, issues of health, largely a lot of other issues. So, you know, it's important for us, and also at the end of the day, as I think the last point that I want to make here, because I don't know how much time you actually have, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, is that it's important for us to understand the citizenship of environment rather than just the academics of environment. If I ask you all, how many, and it's not necessarily that that's the only way, but how many of you have ever been to Jantar Mantar? Okay, so 7, 8, 9, 10 people, or 70, 80, 90, or 100 people are there. How many of you guys have signed a petition online, on Facebook or change.org or otherwise? Yeah. Okay, so there are a little more. How many of you have never done anything for anybody? Because some of you have not raised your hands. I'm wondering, I'm sure you've just been watching Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu or IPL or maybe Kapoor and Sons. How many of you have not done anything, ever? It's okay to say that I have not done enough. Or how many of you have not done enough? I have not done enough. Yeah. So, you know, there is a sense of deficit in terms of contribution that we have. And in this digital age, of course, we're talking about one market and understanding how market is making our life modern. But also how participation or civic engagement has got diluted in many, many ways because of this digital empowerment of ours. We think that we've actually saved the Yamuna or saved the tiger by signing that petition. I have done the RSVP. Click मार दिया तो tiger बच गया. Facebook पे बचाया था, share भी मारा है मैंने. I have sent it to 50 other friends here. And then it doesn't solicit you to really take that 3 baby steps to really do something about that environment. So we need to understand that something that actually came as a tool to empower, to educate ourselves further, it actually has made us more complacent. It has made us more retarded, or something where it just is tokenism at the end of the day. That it's actually making us non-participating or non-contributing, as we think that our contribution is only about putting our signature or our click there. And that is a very, very scary phenomenon. At the end of the day, the world will only change where we actually move from point A to point B, our legs from point A to point B, our hands from point A to point B, rather than just only our mouse and our cursor from point A to point B. And as citizens, as young people, you need to understand that we need to start getting angry at these things rather than just churning, rather than just talking about these issues. And the issues that I've mentioned are only a few, as I said, very urban. That, you know, there are thousands of people who are dying because of issues of mining. In fact, if you, Sir had done as how I came to know about Mr. Roy, first time was many, many years ago, I think with some of my friends who had done something in Vapi and areas where the rivers were black. The rivers in Vapi, Ankleshwar, most of the rivers are actually brown and black. In fact, they've been barricaded. That buffaloes cannot just enter those rivers. If you take a train from here to Bombay, you'll actually see those brown, red, green, non-green rivers. And this is 20, 30 years ago when you did that work. And still date, we actually have those rivers. And these are also in most industrialized, Achheden state, Gujarat, that we are actually talking about. That's where this happens. So we need to start questioning some of these things and some of these models, and not, and you know, I'm a little more critical today, right now, of the current government, because it's the current government,
But I've been as critical about the previous government as well, because it's important that it's not about a particular political party. Across political lines, all the political parties have one agenda, which is basically looking at maximizing profit, optimizing profit for that 1%. Not ATM, around every water tap. There are cops guarding water taps in Lahore, in modern India. And you have thousands and thousands and lakhs of people who will converge in few days to watch IPL cricket. Thank you.
A very energetic and provocative talk. So we've had